G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the south side of the map, playing in the color blue as the Chinese, representing Team Liquid, it is the Muslim. And on the north side of the map, playing in the color yellow, playing as the French, representing no team whatsoever, we've got no idea who it could possibly be, it is Cutie Pie. So for anybody wondering, this is not the Age of Empires, I was going to say the Age of Empires streamer, the League of Legends streamer by the name of Cutie Pie. It is a different guy. Been doing my recon as to who it could possibly be, but I'm still not 100% sure on exactly who it could be. Surely not a qualified Red Bull player. Now, welcome. We're here on Wetlands. If you have not seen this map before, well, you better start feasting your eyes on it because you're going to be seeing it plenty in the Red Bull Wallalol. It is a confirmed map in the Red Bull Wallalol. It looks a little bit like Frisian Marshes. I feel like this is like Frisian Marshes' special cousin that we just don't talk about. You know that song, We Don't Talk About Bruno? Well, we don't talk about Wetlands. Interestingly, we do have a little bit of a strange opening here. It's going to be the Muslim going for some early fish. Now, these guys gather very, very quickly. We can also see Cutie Pie going to be doing the same thing in the north. And he's going to be looking to work on that economy. So these are the fastest gathering sources of food that your villagers can possibly gather shorefish. If I remember correctly, they're actually faster than the boar. So you can see this bad boy over here. He gathers slightly slower. If I remember correctly, it's 9. And then the shorefish are 0.925. So there's a very small difference, but it is there. Now, we got the Muslim doing his standard opening here. It's the 6-3-3 opening. This opening is known for its village timing, so you're able to get that village shortly after you age up, or I think it's around the same time as you age up. A little bit of a delay on the Song Dynasty, though, so it doesn't go for those more optimal... I say more optimal, but I guess it's just a little bit different in the way that you like to play it. So I'd say maybe a little bit faster of the Song Dynasty time, instead goes for a bit more of a heavier food focus in the early stage of the game. And on the other side of the map, though, it's going to be a single scout opening for Cutie Pie, and I guess there's no real surprise there coming out with this single scout opening here. When it comes to food on this map, there's just food absolutely everywhere. If you love food, if you love to eat, if you're hungry, or if you just need a special meal right now, then this is the map for you. There is so much damn food on this map, but do not be fooled by these berry bushes. You see these little berry bushes trickled around the map. If you're looking at the mini map down in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see plenty of them, but it is only 500 food. So don't get your panties in a whirl. Don't start picking the opposite on this map. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I did actually try a strategy on this map and it worked. I haven't seen any of the players do it yet, but you can actually put a dock. You can put a dock in these little pools. So I'm just waiting for like somebody to come out and do like a dock in this pool, a dock in this pool, and open with like 4 fishing boats or something, and it's just going to ruin the thing. Now, you can't actually do that on Frisian Marshes, because on Frisian Marshes, all of the ponds are very small like this, and specifically they spawn them that way so that you can't put a dock in the pool. If you do put the dock in, it will go over the top of all the fish. But I suspect this might be big enough for a dock right here, where you should be able to go pretty well right there, and I think you might be able to get a dock there as well. You might cancel one of the fish, which does kind of hurt, so you don't want to do that. But School of Cavalry now going to be coming in for Cutie Pie. No surprises there. Over on the other side of the map, Demuz, I'm going to be dropping down the Imperial Academy. 2 villagers working on that age up. We do see 1 villager heading back towards wood. He's going to be working towards the Song Dynasty. He's got plenty of villagers here out on food. A single Imperial official out for the moment. And Scout up in the north of the map is going to spot the transfer of villagers heading towards a new destination. And indeed, they're heading towards the stone outcropping. Is that his closest stone? No, he's got a stone out over here. So we double check. Yeah, you can see he's got... It's kind of weird. He's got 2 stone outcroppings within the same distance of the town center, and you compare it to Demuzlem, yeah, I guess it's kind of the same, but this one definitely it feels a little bit closer. Let's just say that much. This one probably a little bit longer, but look, this one's nice and safe, and he's got a really nice safe wood line here next to it as well, so he'll be happy with this one. Now, keep in mind, the town centers have been changed. They used to be 300 stone. They're now 350 stone, so make sure if you're playing this game, Cutie Pie, that you're gathering up all of that stone. One of the things that we have seen players do is go for 6 villagers on stone in the past. And what can happen here is that you do 3 times 5, which works out to be 30. But we do see wheelbarrows come through. So he's going to have an extra 5 that he's gathering up. So he can technically do 6 times 4. And because that's 15 that he's bringing back in, he's going to be able to get that 300 stone. Now, he actually gathered up 165 there. I guess one of the villagers must have been building the mining camp. I'll get my math right eventually. So he should still be fine on target here for that 350. But on the other side of the map now, Muslim going to be working towards that Song Dynasty. 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Not a bad little time here for him. I suspect he'll be looking to move into a 2TC Song play. Obviously, we've got the Song part of it correct now. The question is going to be whether that second TC comes through. There's a few options that you can play with French, or up against French as the Chinese. The most common, the most typical, the most popular seems to be a 2TC Song Dynasty opening, though. So we'll wait and see whether the Muslim goes for that. But he's got a very heavy food emphasis at the moment, and it's going to be a barracks that gets dropped down. Over on the other side of the map, though, Cutie Pie yet to actually open with any cavalry. He does have a scout out. Now, Muslim actually going to be dropping down walls as well. But still, we don't see that. Any cavalry coming through. Look at this specialized pick coming through here for Cutie Pie. Also picking up +1 on the double broadaxe. Is 307 stone. This is not good right now. And now going to have to move back. So he's moved villagers over to the shorefish to pick up, or to gather this. He was going to drop down the town center. He was waiting for the wood. And he's realized, unfortunately, he doesn't have the stone for it. So he's going to have to head back. Builds the second mining camp here. He's going to deposit the stone, or deposit the food at the mining camp so he doesn't throw it away. And he's now going to be gathering up that stone. So a little bit of an oversight there from Cutie Pie. A little bit of a mistake, but look, at the end of the day, it's the new patch. People still adjusting to all the changes. And the first spearman now makes its way out onto the field as we hear that scout just calling off. I can't wait until these scout voices just get removed. I really can't wait for it. We don't need to be hearing this throughout the whole game. I've complained about it before. I'll complain about it again. They just keep on going. Wheelbarrow now coming through, though, for Muslim. He's looking pretty solid in this game. I'm not going to lie. I'm loving this opening that he's got. My only question is this Barbican placement. What is this all about? I guess he's securing food out here. You know, he's got 1,000 food out here. And then he's got 5 deer as well that he can work with. So it's not a bad little spot that he's got. I guess the other alternative is like here with the Barbican. It's a really open position. Actually, he's got the boar. Yeah, you know what? I would have been going for that. I would have dropped the boar here, lured the boar in. Chef's kiss. I mean, technically, he could lure that boar down here to the other side. This is a great little spot. And, you know, we talked about this earlier. If you're a fan of food, then you're going to absolutely love this map. There is so much damn food on this map. But now we see Muslim jumping over heavily onto that stone outcropping. 9 villagers here working their way through this stone. Now, keep in mind, he does have the wheelbarrow in, so he's going to be working towards it very, very quickly. Second town center over on the other side of the map has finally been completed now for Cutie Pie. And once again, please, just kill it. Kill the scout. Please kill the scout. Thank you. Thank you. And the golf clap comes in. You know what? I'm not even going to give it a golf clap. Like, that is a standing ovation. Get the out of here. I am sick of your calls. Shut up. Sit down. Shut up. I feel like I'm talking to a child right now. Cutie Pie moving out with a couple of archers. Or I say a couple. It's going to be a single archer for the moment. No one in queue just yet, but he's out here. Beautiful little spot. Very defensive. And take a look at this. He's got the boar underneath the town center. It's somewhere underneath here. I know because I saw it earlier. At least, has he killed it already? He might have killed it already. Is that... I think he's on the boar. I don't know how he killed it without taking damage. But that boar, he's got the boar, the gold, wood line, and deer pack all tucked in nice and close. Archer and knight out here in tandem. Well, right on board with the Muslim as the second TC is now coming up for him. And the question is, what direction does he go from here? Does he look to play a little bit longer in the feudal? Does he look to play a spearman horseman composition, a very popular composition in the feudal age? Does he think about going maybe a little bit towards the castle age? Another great composition that you can pull out against the French is spearman palace guard together with those nest of bees. But you've got to be careful. Your enemy always going to be able to potentially add in springalds, and then you start getting drawn into that siege war. But that's exactly what you want as the Chinese. Spearman numbers getting up there. Hardened Spearman upgrade is through. And look at that villager count for Muslim really starting to rise. Archery range going to be going down. This is a curious adaptation and definitely not something I would agree with in this matchup. So the Chukunu, obviously a really strong unit, but not really good in this matchup, primarily because the Chukunu does 5 damage per volley. The Knight has got 4 armor. And it means that you're only doing 1 damage a volley. So it's not a huge amount of damage that you're able to do. So for me personally, now remember, I guess I'm just like compared to these guys, I am like nothing. Muslim is just an absolute machine. But it's curious to me to see the theory behind this and as to why he looks to go in this and whether we actually do see Chukunu coming out or whether he just sticks with archers and says, you know what, we'll just go archer up against it. But it looks like it's going to be Chukunu that he's moving into. And we do see that +1 ranged armor now coming through, which is going to mean that he's got 4 ranged armor, Cutie Pie does, on that other side. And it looks like it's going to be a heavy feudal play coming out here from him. Not a lot of resources in the bank at the moment. Just a little bit of food stacked up. And we're going to move it over. The 10-minute mark has rolled over. So we're going to switch it over to the income tab instead of the village account, so that you guys are able to track where these guys are heading when it comes to their incomes. But Demuslim going to be eclipsing Cutie Pie in quite a bit of a roundabout fashion here. 10 villages up at the moment. Not too bad at all. No sign of any additional town centers getting thrown down for either of these players. So really just sticking it to the good old classic 2TC play for both of these civilizations. Both of these civs do get to add in even more villages, just simply because they both get bonuses to reduce the time that it takes to train those villages. Couple of archers back here need to get rallied towards the front. Score starting to get pulled ahead a little bit for Demuslim out here. Beautiful base building though. I'm loving the way that he's building this base. It feels very safe. I feel like there's nothing that's going to hit me. And look at this base that's been built here for him. He's got just a little bit, like 2 walls here, and it just gives him the freedom to do anything. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, like the spawns that have occurred now on this map. It's just a giant ring of trees around the base that's very easy to hold up. But we now see Demuslim adding in more and more units, so playing it out heavily in the feudal age. No real sign of a castle age, but you blink for a minute and he will be in castle. Look at the resource per minute that's coming through for both of these guys. At any time they could drop it out. Now we've got Cutie Pie looking to add in battering rams. The first one making its way down towards the Barbican, and Demuslim going to be heading out towards this position. Now the key factor in this matchup is spearmen, spearmen, spearmen. You need a lot of spearmen. As soon as you lose your spearmen, it's good game. The knights clean up everything, and what is Cutie Pie doing right now? Heading in towards the Shukunu. Shukunu do have their +1 ranged attack upgrade, so at least going to be trading efficiently against these archers. Let's watch to see how he plays it, as the mass here not looking particularly healthy at the moment for Cutie Pie. Demuslim looking pretty solid here, up about 20 population. Now keep in mind, that 20 population, 14 of which is reflected in that village account. He's also got quite a few more military pop. But remember, there are knights on the other side of the screen, and knights take up 3 times as many population, or rather resources, than their counterparts, the spearmen. Knights now coming in, going to be able to find some villagers, some point-blank charges getting off. Looks like only one of the workers is going to be going down, though. At the same time, it looks like reinforcements going to get picked up by the Shukunu over on the west side here of the base. Spearmen a little bit disconnected from this position, and the Knights might be able to get a good charge, and you can see him running through. But if he takes out all of the archers before the Spearmen get here, there's going to be no archers left to kill the Spearmen, and that's what this game is all about. Spearmen, Spearmen, Spearmen. As long as the Spearmen survive, you're A-okay, and Demuslim going to be pushing back here against the French player. This is not looking good for Cutie Pie as he manages to repel this early attack, and with this, France looking a little bit curious as to how he's going to pull this one out. Shukunu looking strong, and the Spearmen swarming, pushing through. Indeed. +1 ranged armor coming through. I didn't expect it to be so clear, that voice line, but indeed it was, and now battering ram's going to get cleaned up as well. He might actually be able to surround these battering rams with the Spearmen. Let's look to see whether he does that. He is going to be making his way through, trying to get the surround. There he goes. He gets the surround, and it's good night, sweet ram for that one. Off to the ranch he goes. More knights in the middle, and just our French player getting shredded alive right now. I'm loving the Shukunu play coming out from Demuslim, but I can't help but feel like it's just the simple macro difference at this point. I don't know what Cutie Pie did or what he did wrong. I guess my main theory is that up here he was looking to drop down a second TC somewhere around this position, and then it was a bit of a fail because he was waiting for the wood, and then he realized he didn't have the stone. So I think that's going to be the case. But now look at Demuslim. He's thinking about 2 things at once right now. He's pushing, he's ramming, and he's also aging up. Look at this. He's got plenty of resources in the bag. He's multitasking. And speaking of aging up, Guildhall on the other side of the map, as Cutie Pie reaches the castle age, he's got a single battering ram back here. An astronomical clock tower going to get thrown down here as well for Demuslim. So he's going to be very shortly up to the next age. Now the question is, what does he look to do here on the play? So he's got 2 options. Number one is that feels bad, but fortunately there are Spearmen here. It's a little bit of a massacre, but only 2 vills go down. So not a bad effort there by Demuslim to defend that. That is impressive. Honestly, I'm impressed he only got, well, technically, I think he only got 1 vill there because 1 vill died earlier. Nice little exchange, but now Demuslim actually going to be pushing up despite not having the veterancy upgrades. We do start to see veteran Spearmen coming through. You would hope that this is going to be getting supervised up. Let's double check and see. There's the veteran Spearman. Imperial official nearby. No supervision at the moment. Needs to get that one in as soon as possible. You can see Hardened Spearman just chilling out for the moment. Now you can see it's getting powered up. No, it's not getting powered up. He's just getting it through. Over on the other side, though, veteran archers coming through, as well as +2. He's going for wedge rivets, Triple battering ram looking pretty solid as Muslim pushing against his enemy right now. It's the classic matchup, China versus France, and China looking to take it in this one. The men-at-arms going to be able to equalize this position, it seems, with the numbers. Unfortunately, not going to be enough, and that +1 ranged armor going to be all that he needs to push this back. So now Muslim going to be forced away from the enemy base, but the battering rams continue battering down the hatches. And we see that there is a bit of a push coming out on this west side. Villager count at the moment still in the favor of Muslim, up by about 17 villagers for the moment. Still making his way back. That veterancy's still not in, by the way. We don't have veteran Shukanu. We don't have +2 coming in for him. He's got plenty of resources in the bank, but just didn't opt for it. Instead, going for a more production-heavy focus. We see now throwing down barracks, throwing down archery ranges. So maybe moving into crossbows and spearmen might be the decision that he goes for. But we do see that landmark did go down back home. Villagers going to be turned towards that instead. Knights running a little bit ahead. Palace Guard's going to be coming out now as well. And instead, looks to turn around on his enemy. Do we see any Nesta Bees in queue? Not just yet. Landmark victory approaching, it says, with 1 out of 3. Something tells me that's just not the case, unfortunately. I wonder if that's going to go away. I feel like that should probably go away if there's no actual, like, if these other landmarks aren't under attack, it's not really threatened, is it? I mean, where do you do your if statements on that one? It's like, if landmark is dead, then display landmark victory approaching. However, if not existing landmarks under attack for 30 seconds, then get rid of this. I mean, I think that's right. You gotta be doing more if statements. You just can't leave that one up there forever. Something we'll bring up with the developers of it though. But now those Shukanu trading out quite well here. Now Muslim in a bit of a concerning position. He's got plenty of military though, so things not looking too bad. Wedge Rivet's going to be coming in on his side as well. And now not looking too bad. We're still yet to see any farms thrown in, I think, from either player here. So we're at the 17-minute mark. We'll double check in with their bases and see how they're doing. But it's just a huge amount of mills going down for both players as they expand around the map. And I think, if anything, that's when you think about this map, that's who is that a nerf to? That is a nerf to the Holy Roman Empire, or not a nerf, but rather, who is that bad for? That's bad for the Holy Roman Empire. Why is it bad for the HRE? They want to be making farms around the Archon Chapel, so that's not a good thing. It's a nerf, or it's not good for the English. Why is it not good for the English? Well, they want to be using their farms as much as possible. Who else is it not good for? Well, you could argue it's not good for the Chinese. Chinese love a good farm transition. As long as you've got the granaries for it, they have got the farms. So perhaps that is another argument. But I guess realistically, as long as China, I mean, when you're playing China, you want to delay that farm transition as long as possible. So it's not necessarily a good thing. So perhaps that's not a bad thing for China. Who knows? The Muslim seems to be doing it pretty damn well, though, at this point in the game. Still no farms yet to go down. It's going to be moving over towards that position. Look at this. Knight trying to find a way around. Is he on a patrol command? I think he's on a patrol command. He's on a patrol command on the other side. A little bit of a wolf attack over here. We'll switch away our perspective. He's got the patrol command coming through, and there's going to be a chop through any second. You can see these villagers working towards it. So eventually, this will be realized. Military Academy now coming through as well. And a defensive keep. Honestly, as soon as I see this keep coming down right here, don't go any further. Yeah, okay, you know what? That's fine. As soon as I see this keep going down, I'm just like, yep, this is a Chinese victory. This is a Chinese victory. Why is this a Chinese victory? France can't push this. This is it. China just goes Imperial with this keep. 2 Nesta Bees, a whole bunch of spearmen. And to be honest, there's probably not enough spearmen here. 13 spearmen. If there's a lot of knights that come out, this could be bad for Muslim. Unfortunately, there's no knights on the field with the exception of that one. But now looking to push in onto this sacred site. Battering ram out here in the mix as well. Mangonel shot going a little bit wide. Nesta Bees looking to fire off down upon the front line. Still continuing to fire off. We enter into the cinematic mode. As Liquid to Muslim tries to finish off his enemy, Mangonel going to be under attack, and the Palace Guards continue moving forward. Knights are nowhere to be seen. The consequence, unfortunately, of not going for those Knights is you don't really have a win condition against this Chinese composition. He manages to continue pushing him back. The archers trying their best to kite in. Relics are coming in, but unfortunately, the Springle just going to be coming up empty. There's no Arbor Trier out here. Arbor Trier in the mix would definitely help out a huge amount here, but still just making veteran archers. We'll tune in over on the other side of the map, as I think, yeah, he's pulled away that knight. Unfortunately, using the move all command, we can see that knight died an honorable death to the keep. And the Nesta Bees continue firing off in the middle of the map, as the archers might be stepping a little bit too far forward. Nesta Bees, don't do him like that. Sacred site is neutralized. And those relics slowly getting picked up. We see the Springles moving out. Springles moving out. Springles, watch out. Springles, no, not like this. Nesta B's, unfortunately, just able to stay alive, and now he looks to fire down. Nesta B's still doing pretty decently on the backside, and he manages to take one out, but at what cost? You can't help but feel like he's whittling him down. Both of the Springles going to be going down. We're going to pull back out of that cinematic mode right now. And we can see that Demuslim is ahead by about 1,000 points at this part of the game. Up about 30 villagers. Military score still relatively even. Demuslim an absolute country mile ahead. We start to see more upgrades coming through. Veterancy on the Chukunu. He's really loving this composition, just the mass archer comp. Mangonel going to be coming out now. This might equalize this position. We'll have to wait and see. Mangonel's going to go wide. A little bit too short, unfortunately. Second Town Center going to offer a little bit of safety on that position. But now Demuslim might be thinking a bit more about Imperial Age. He's got 3.5k of the gold, of the good stuff stacked up, and the farm transition is here, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't she beautiful? Isn't she absolutely beautiful? A map where you don't need to go to farms for 21 minutes. That ain't Falco. That ain't too bad. And we see him moving up towards the north. He's actually looking to stonewall up the entire map. Something that Demuslim routinely does. This is something that he loves to do. He just stonewalls across the entire map, and we start to see walls have come across down the south side, but still the middle is somewhat open. My suspicion is he's just going to completely solidify his lead here and prevent any sort of comeback mechanic. Because what's the way that you get back into this game as the French? Raiding. That is the way you do it. You send in 4 or 5 knights through the right side. You hit the wood line. You send a couple knights down on the south side. Hit the farms. That's how you do it. But we do see the age up now coming through. Spirit Way. 30 villagers on the Spirit Way. Nesta B is going to be, unfortunately, under a little bit of pressure. Hold on. Where are you guys going? What are you guys doing? Look at them go. They're almost stuttering there, aren't they? Just trying to chase that Nesta Bees, but they're not giving themselves enough space. So now he's bringing them forward, and as long as he... That's awkward. That's awkward. Nesta Bees. That's awkward. Gets taken out. But look at this. We got Elite Chukunu coming through. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Off the top rope. Elite Chukunu now going to be coming through for Demuslim. I love to see it. We now have... Oh, I love this. I love this so much. This is really... This is one of my favorite ways to play China. You get to Imperial before your enemy. You get all the Chukunu upgrades. You get Elite Chukunu. You get +3, and you also get Incendiary Arrows. Your Chukunu are doing so much damn damage. And on top of that, every time that they die, they're also getting attack speed. They're also getting healed. It's ridiculous. It's really, really strong. Elite Chukunu. Oh, Elite Chukunu is a bay. Bay, is that the right term? I mean, it is bay, but at the same time, like, I'm trying to think of a way to describe why Elite Chukunu are just the best in the game when it comes to this. Now, one of the things to note is that when pound for pound, they're very strong. But once you start talking about like knights and men-at-arms getting into the mix and heavy amounts of men-at-arms or knights, Chukunu are less effective. So they're really, really good in those environments where your enemy's got low amounts of units and you've got low amounts of units because they trade so effectively. But now we look as the cinematic mode brings us in as players look to begin battling it out. Palace Guards moving forward, looking to try and take out the Mangonel. Should be successful here. Mangonel's on the front line. Avalatrea on the backside looking to fight it out, but the Elite Chukunu still yet to get their Incendiary Arrows upgrade through. He's trying his best now, neutralizing the Sacred Site. Elite Chukunu now going to be firing off, and the Chukunu have got their upgrades. They're fully upgraded. Watch out. The fully upgraded Chukunu just shredding through this back line. Look at the damage that they're doing. Absolutely massive amounts of damage. Trading out so incredibly strong right now, and Demuslim looking incredibly solid in this game. Double Trebuchet coming out for Cutie Pie here, but I suspect it might not be enough. And now Demuslim pulling ahead by about 3k score. Do not mess with the Chukunu. Fully upgraded up against the French here. There's no way back into this game for Cutie Pie. It's looking really difficult for him to hold this one. Elite Palace Guards also here, tanking up on the front line. And we're going to take you guys out of this cinematic mode and bring you guys back in right now. Demuslim looking very solid in this game. We see more upgrades coming through. Elite Army Tactics also picking up angled surfaces, the +3 ranged armor. And good game gets called. Cutie Pie going to tap out, and Demuslim looking very solid in this game. Beautiful opening there from Demuslim. A little bit of a mess around there from Cutie Pie, but absolutely wonderful stuff from Demo. Fellas, go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can catch him live. You might even be live on Twitch right now, so go say good day, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.